Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting edition of Boyographic, show in which I, Matt, the Game Boyle, talk you through the highs and lows of the Game Boy library, one cart at a time. This week we're going to wrap up your license as promised with Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. Of all the Disney cartoons I regret not spending more time with, the highest on that list is the spectacular 1991 action-adventure Darkwing Duck. If you were to mix all the good things of the Disney afternoon block into a blender with an extra healthy spattering of DuckTales, then throw on every great Silver Age comic and pulp detective novel, the mix that came out the other side would be this show. From it having amazingly expressive animation, arguably the world's best theme song, and, of course, Launchpad McQuack, Darkwing Duck surely had a lot going for it. Darkwing himself is the terror that flaps the night, equal parts Batman, the Shadow, and arrogance. He's really a character with a heart of gold, surrounded by great supporting characters and a rogues gallery not shy to parody the best villains in history. It wasn't until I heard Jordan Jesse go laugh about the idea of the Duckiverse that I really remembered this cartoon, and it was then that I discovered the great games from Capcom, made for the NES and Game Boy. It's fair to say from the off that if you like Mega Man, you're gonna like Darkwing Duck. It won't surprise you to learn either that the NES game was produced by Takuro Fujiwara, who, aside from creating Mega Man, produced all of the games now available in the Disney Afternoon Collection. It's an action platform game that puts you in the role of Darkwing himself, in an attempt to foul the evil organisation perpetrating a mysterious crime wave in St. Canard. So it's up to Darkwing to take them to task. You do this, as you'd expect, by pressing A to jump and B to fire across the game's 7 stages. Like DuckTales before it, Launchpad allows the player to travel the city and tackle the levels in their preferred order. However, the levels only appear in blocks of 3, so you're going to need to beat levels 1 to 3 to advance to 4, 5 and 6, with the 7th level only becoming accessible once the player has cleared the rest. The levels themselves unsurprisingly feel a lot like your average Mega Man game, meaning you'll run, gun, and jump until you reach a checkpoint, then battle on until you find the end level boss and beat him senseless. There are some changes to the Blue Bomber formula here, however. First off, Darkwing can't run and gun, meaning you're going to have to need to stay static if you want to take a pot shot at an enemy. While this would be incredibly off-putting for most, by pressing up on the D-pad, Darkwing can shoot from behind his cape shield, making for easy enemy dispatches. Just be careful as it doesn't block everything in the game. Also, Darkwing can, well, duck, so at least he's got that on Rockman. Second biggest change from the Mega Man formula is how you traverse levels. While Darkwing can jump about, the game takes a little something from Bionic Commando and lets you hang from platforms. It's an essential skill to learn that the game teaches you at first with hooks, before giving you some platforms and the like to hang off of too. Thirdly, and this one's a biggie, the game doesn't have the rock, paper, scissors mechanics that define the Rockman games. Instead, Darkwing relies on his trusted gas gun that you can pick up new and interesting attachments for, such as heavy gas that drops to the floor and explodes, thunder gas that shoots at a 45-degree angle, and the best option in my opinion, the arrow gas, which hits harder but costs more gas than the other 2 weapons. These power-ups are scattered throughout the game's stages, while the gas to use them can be earned through killing enemies, along with extra lives, gold and diamonds for points, and more importantly, health, as Darkwing can only take 4 hits per life. Don't be too worried though, as the game is pretty generous with these health packs, so you won't actually end up hitting your head against sections in the way you'd kind of expect from this game. Unfortunately, it also has unlimited continues, if not a password system. The boss battles at the end of the game's 7 stages are, for me at least, a little bit more involved than those of Mega Man. Sure, there are some boss patterns to learn, but in taking away their weaknesses via another type of weapon, Darkwing Duck is able to make a boss battle that really puts the player through their paces. Squaring off against the likes of Megabolt, Bushroot and Liquidator, Darkwing must dodge obstacles, projectiles and even a platform to overcome the enemies. It makes a nice change really, even if some of the encounters, especially Quackerjack, feel a little more fiddly than they should. Then to wrap the game up, it's time to face off against Steelbeak, who, while he's a 2-part boss encounter akin to Dr. Wily, is nothing you won't be able to handle. And that perhaps is the game's biggest blessing and curse, its difficulty level, or lack thereof. When I originally played through this game, I thought it was quite challenging. However, years of playing Mega Man and the realisation that Darkwing has a cape shield really does sand off the edges on this difficulty. It is of course important to remember that this is a game for kids here, but I really don't see anyone facing too much of a challenge with this game. Maybe I've just become too used to the sadomasochism involved in defeating a Mega Man title, but Darkwing almost feels like it's missing something because of this. Pair this feeling of unease off with some ropey issues with the hang mechanic, i.e. you need to be right on the edge of most hooks to land the next jump, and I can honestly say that while the game is a damn good experience, one I honestly do recommend you pick up. I can't say that making this kind of game easier necessarily makes it better. Sure, this version perhaps has replayability in finding hidden bonus stages. Its graphics and music are incredible as you'd expect from a Capcom title, and in all honesty, the Game Boy version of the game is superior to the NES game for me because of its tighter level design. However, they're not enough to elevate the game to the category of the best on the system, the same place that other Capcom titles like DuckTales and Mega Man often find themselves. Again, I'm really not saying it's bad, but perhaps I've just been spoiled by the association the words Disney and Capcom conjure in my brain. Pick it up if you see it by all means, as, again, I feel I need to state for the record I think Darkwing Duck is a great game. But if you're pitting this purchase up against, say, a DuckTales or a Mega Man, I can't help but feel that this should be your second choice. And that brings us to the end of the video, folks, and the end of your license. I hope you've enjoyed. I will be back in 2 weeks with probably something made by Nintendo to cleanse the license from me. But until then, check out some more of our videos and find me on Twitter at Game Boyle. Until then, Game Boys and Girls, be sure to game on.